Well, hello there and welcome to another training nugget. In this video, I will be showing you on how to local host your website in Xampp. So let's get started. Well, the first thing you'll want to do is to make sure that you have downloaded Xampp for Windows and using the provided installation process installed in your computer. You can do that by navigating into apachefriends.org and look for the latest version depending on your operating system. I happen to be on a 64-bit operating system, which is auto-detected, and there are a number of Xampp distros that I can download and have them in my computer, depending on the PHP version of choice. Now, if I am using Linux, we also have Xampp for Linux. Don't forget, if you're using a Xampp for OS, then you also have the OS versions that you can install. You will never fall out of options when you're working with Xampp. So once you have installed in your computer, you'll navigate directly into your Start menu and navigate to the Xampp control panel. What we'll want to do is to launch two important Xampp services that enables us to host our websites locally, which is Apache and MySQL. Apache is involved directly with PHP files, and MySQL is involved directly with the database. So I'll click to start these two services, Apache, and then I'll also start MySQL. What you'll realize is when you're working with Xampp, it becomes very easy for you to host your local websites so that they can actually be accessed remotely, or you can manipulate directly as if you're working on a real existing server. The very best part about Xampp is you do not have to worry about databases and MySQL. They come integrated, and if your website requires to store information in tables and databases, then Xampp becomes the very best option. I already have a website that I was developing in HTML, and it's called Honey. It's a website that is supposed to be selling honey. So I have a number of files in here. I have the HTML files. I also have the scripting files and the supporting image files. This is just hosted on my computer. If I double click on the index file, this is how my local file looks like. So I have the honey, I have the slider up here with some of the jQuery. I also have some extensions up here. And you can tell from the URL, I am on a local account. And working with these as a local account like this is not very useful. You can tell the URL is very long and very confused. But then I need to break this down by using Xampp so that it becomes easier to operate and work with it. So what I'll do is I'll want to move these HTML files from my local computer and upload them into the server. To do that, I'll first want to know where my Xampp is installed. So I'll navigate into local disk C. This is where I have installed my Xampp. I'll then navigate to www, that is where my installation is. And any file that you want to appear publicly is usually stored into the htdocs. This is the public file that can be accessed directly from your browser. So I'll double click on htdocs, the number of files that I have been working on, and I would like to bring my Honey website right here. So to do that, I'll go back to where I have hosted my HTML files. I'll just navigate back to where my files are, and here they are. So what I'll do is I'll copy the whole Honey folder. I'll right click and select copy. I'll then navigate back to where I have installed my Xampp, navigate into the public folder, which happens to be htdocs. Then I'll Control V to paste that new folder in here, and the name is Honey. Now navigate into my browser to get access to these files. As you can tell, when you want to access any files that are in the public folder in your localhost area, you can type localhost and then you put a slash and select that public folder that you have just created. If I just punch on localhost and press enter, it just takes me to the dashboard and I can do a few things here and there. However, I want to access my honey folder that I have just created. So I'll type localhost / honey and I'll press on enter. When I punch on enter, the file that will be accessed will be the one labeled index inside my htdocs honey folder. This, the index page. Always the index page is the first page that appears whenever you are launching your site from the public folder. And you can tell that now the URL is more simplified and it's direct for me to use and utilize this by selecting different menu items that I have, and you can tell how convenient the URLs look on my site. I can scroll through. There is also a newsletter here, which means I can type in and create a database and host this information for newsletter distribution thanks to Xampp and MySQL. I can also navigate to other pages, and you can tell this localhost file is running quite fast. It is very possible for me also to edit these files in case I find that there's a discrepancy by just going back into my www public htdocs honey folder, right clicking on the file of choice and opening that with a text editor of your choice. So here I can edit the different files within my public folder, and once I'm done and click on save, it automatically absorbs the changes in the site. So if I would want to shut down my Xampp, I'll navigate into the control panel and shut down the modules that I've been using. I'll click on stop as an action for my module Apache. I'll then click on stop for the MySQL. Once you stop these services, I'll try and refresh my website, and you can tell that the website is no longer accessible. Well, that is how you work with your website in localhost using Xampp. If you like this video, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next nugget.